Glimmer stepped in front of She and pushed her hand out to shake. I didn't expect the sword. It was a good move, Glimmer said in a French accent. Thank you. Congratulations on your team's win today, She said as they shook hands. I like the hot pink hair. Who did it? Glimmer asked. Turns out Bioforce can manipulate the biomatter of others. In my case, she did my hair. She says she can style it too. So if you ever get tired of blonde hair, you just ask her. No, thank you. I'm not that adventurous with my hair. I do have one question for you. What's that? That sword cut through my grays and me. I didn't think I could be cut by steel that easy. Where did you get it? Did you make it in the lab? She smiled. Our master builder Midas. He made it out of a handful of dirt from the pit floor. He did? I hadn't given thought to him making weapons. I would have loved one of those. I was really at a disadvantage without one. Midas, come here, She said in a lower, more serious tone. Midas' head popped up and turned from talking to Ranger. He saw She motioning him over with her head. Excuse me, please. Midas left Ranger and started across the room. Ranger had just turned 13 and was only a few inches taller than Midas. Midas considered him more a peer and liked talking to him. Does he have super hearing? Glimmer asked. Some, enough to hear through this, She said. Midas, you know Glimmer. She was asking about the sword you made. Glimmer reached out and shook Midas' hand. Ow! Careful! I need this hand. Sorry, you don't have super durability? Glimmer asked. Not enough. What did you want to know about the sword? Everything. Well, it was made of the super alloy sample I was given by Coach Spurs. I didn't have time to make a nice curve or pretty polish, so it had a point. One straight edge, a handle, and I made it sharp. Like, down to the individual atoms sharp. You did all that in the second or two I couldn't see you? You saw how quickly I was able to make a building and all the stuff inside. Glimmer smiled sweetly. I know, and I am absolutely in love with my new room. Those concrete walls were horrible. They were. I'm glad you liked the new room, Midas said. Are you going to be making weapons for everyone here at Alpha or just for First Team? Midas turned and looked to She. Midas knew full well she would be the person such a weapon would be turned on. She knew it too. Midas will be making weapons for any Alpha who asks for them, She said. I will? Midas asked. You will. Like A.K.A said about our nano uniforms. Everyone gets one. That's the only way it's fair, She said firmly. Glimmer seemed taken aback by She wanting her to have the same weapons. Thank you. It's very gracious of you to share with the other teams like this. Just as A.K.A had done to her, it was She's turn to be the bigger person. In the end, we'll all be superheroes. That's about saving lives, not competition. Glimmer, with her Parisian manners and cosmopolitan look, suddenly felt very immature. As the childish shame crossed her face, she said, You're right, of course. She turned to Midas. I look forward to seeing what kind of things you will be making. You dream it up, and I'll make it, Midas said. Glimmer turned to leave. By the way, I love the new uniforms. Midas turned to She and said, See, you two can get along. I think she's more interested in the tactical advantage our team has. A lot of good it did us. You didn't hear the conversation Darkspeed just had with Connors, She said as she proceeded to give an account of the exchange that happened earlier. On the other side of the room, Coach Smith and Coach Connors finally met in the crowd. Congratulations on your win today. Your team looked good, Connors said first. Thanks, they worked really hard. I'm surprised they won today. I mean, given your team's ability and your reputation, I thought this would have been your day, Smith said. Connors gave a weak smile. He could tell Smith wanted to take his place as first coach. Today was everyone's day. There's an old saying, you learn faster from your losses than you do from your wins. I'd have to think that someone who lost a lot came up with that saying. I came up with it a long time ago. Oh, listen, I didn't... It's cool. You wanted your team to win today and they did. Again, congratulations, Connors said as he turned to go talk to someone else. Thank you, Smith said a little too late. Connors walked up to Dr. DeClute. How are you doing this evening? I'm well. Did you have fun letting your team get dirt kicked in their face? Dr. DeClute asked. You're just upset that your bioforce wasn't ready for the fear power. They were trying their best, Dr. DeClute said. I think you're getting soft in your old age. You're no spring chicken. It's your power that keeps you young, remember that. They've been working hard. They deserve a coach to teach them. I am. I'm preparing them, Connors said plainly. How? To win is for them to become complacent. For them to lose is for them to become hungry. I'm setting the tone for the rest of their career now. They need to want to be over-prepared. Then I'll teach. I hope you know what you're doing. Have I ever let you down? Connors asked. Not intentionally, Dr. DeClute said. Soft and bitter. Dr. DeClute reached over and punched Connors in the chest with half effort. I'll show you soft. You have to hit harder than that. Bioforce saw this from across the room. Dr. DeClute didn't look like her grandmother. She looked younger as she and Connors traded friendly barbs. Connors looked different too, not so hard. Your grandmother and Connors seem to get along well, Virtuoso said to Bioforce. Yeah, I've never seen her like that. Never seen Connors like that before either. Did you hear about the conversation Connors had with Darkspeed? Virtuoso asked. Bioforce looked at her Brazilian teammate. You're asking, why? Alright, I knew you didn't know. I was just being polite, Virtuoso thought to Bioforce. Virtuoso then started to replay the conversation that took place outside to her friend. Olympian was talking to Eclipse about their fight. I knew from our fights in the pit that I couldn't beat you, Eclipse explained. So I just had to make sure that you and I were both tied up for the duration of the match. Well, it was a good tactic. You're the only one here I can't bench quickly. Is your whatever power going to allow you to grow even bigger? Olympian asked. I call it my giant power, and I hope so. At this size, I'm barely a hitter. At full size, I'm the strongest one here. Barely, and I've been getting stronger every year. So, I've been getting bigger every year. I'd still be too invulnerable for you to hurt. Didn't you get your arm broken last week? Very funny. She was still standing with Midas. The two of them were listening in to conversations around the room with super hearing. They found Olympian to be entertaining. I'm glad those two aren't competitive or anything like that, she said dryly. Midas chuckled. Maybe those two need to eat their dinner in the pit, just in case a fight should break out. That would be cool, in kind of a destructive way. I guess that would be, Midas agreed. She turned to him quickly. You've never seen superhuman combat in a populated place, have you? No? Oh, my father has had such battles in Japan. I have a few Blu-rays of them back in the dorm. Want to watch them tonight? You were supposed to show me what sushi was too, remember? How can I know you're not just teasing? How about I order some sushi from the bots here and we can watch the videos with it? She asked. Cool, we should ask the others. Does your dad break things in the video? The bad guys don't call him the Blood Red Samurai for nothing, she said like she was remembering good times. Did he teach you how to use a sword? Midas asked. She gave a big knowing grin. He sure did. If Glimmer thinks both of us having a sword makes us even, she's wrong. So, you weren't worried about me making her weapons too? No, not really. I mean, she would just find another way to get one. It's just better if we all learn to share, like IQ said. Darkspeed made his rounds, congratulating the other team members. Other than that, he was quiet. Once dinner started, Dr. DeClute suggested that each person sit next to the person that played their position. Connors and Smith both sat next to Dr. DeClute. Their conversations were cordial. Smith talked about his time on the New York team and how he served an apprenticeship. Connors didn't talk about himself much. Dr. DeClute worked to keep the conversation about ways to improve the academy and the Alpha's experience while there. Darkspeed sat next to Ranger. Ranger was younger and smaller than Darkspeed. Darkspeed could sense that Ranger was being pushed by his father, maybe a little too fast. Ranger was powerful in the superhero sense, but he was reminiscent of Midas. He seemed like he was trying hard to fit into a mold. Darkspeed did his best to be kind to the younger boy, despite his sour mood. Bioforce and Wave just seemed to get along. Maybe it was because they both were healers and had a general positive outlook. Onlookers would say they had something in common. Wave was from Hawaii, and her passion was marine life. Bioforce had spent so much time studying zoology, she had crossed over in marine biology more than once. That, and she could morph into a dolphin. The two talked and shared study techniques for the medical courses they were starting. She seemed to have made a connection of some kind to Glimmer. The two of them were similar in many ways. Both stealths stood far above the other stealths at the academy. Glimmer shared with She that her parents were older, and she was an only child. Her parents both served on the old pre-academy Paris team. Both had seen action in the Coalition's war, one as a leader, the other as a stealth. Her retired mother put everything into raising her to be a superhero, and her father still ran the Paris HU Hall as an administrator. She now understood why Glimmer was trained almost as well as her in hand-to-hand combat.